spawning in the bottom right. In the blue, he is, of course, representing Alpha X. The most handsome man, ZOUN. And his opponent in the upper left, in the red, what some say is the best Protoss in the world. For the Freak of Freaks, TRAP. Man, all of my friends from my Astro undergrad. I don't know, Tiger Ra. I have covered some of it, but I can check. As I'm rather mad. So you used to be able to alt-tab out of StarCraft, and if your computer was good enough, you wouldn't drop FPS. But you do now. So I can't use my second monitor. It's I mean, I can to check chat, but I can't, you know, tap out and check these things, which is rather annoying. So we're gonna check on our phone, shall we? But I don't know. Let's take a look. So week 1, Alpha X played NV. Week 2, they played GP. Week 3, we played Liquid. Week 4, we played DPG. So when did we play them? We play them week 6. So we play them in 2 weeks. And yeah, I will be covering that on this channel, because I believe that is the Sunday match, and I've kind of been consistently covering the Sunday games. As we do, of course, have a double stalker opener from both sides here, but now we immediately see some deviation. We do see Trap going for a Stargate play, and ZOUN, he's not. So we're going to have to see exactly what that means here for this game, whether ZOUN, most likely, means he's going to go for just blink play. That makes sense, that's standard. But we may see, we may see something weird, but again, it's most likely going to be a blink play here. I mean, I guess a DT timing could be rather tasty as well, there's no persistent detection, so that could be a bit annoying, but we're just going to have to see. So now we have, of course, Oracle on the way here for Trap, as he already has one, so he's going double Oracle, and, well, there's one thing Trap is known for, it is his Oracle control, so we're going to have to see what ZOUN can do against that, as this will be +1 blink for the Alpha X Protoss player here. So he's notionally, because, of course, I mean, if Trap goes into maybe a couple of Void Rays or a couple of Phoenix after that, I mean, it's kind of becomes a bit weird because asynchronicity is a thing, but he will notionally have a much better army than Trap will for the time being, because what Trap is giving up in army value or army capacity, he's making up for in potential worker harass capacity. So we're gonna have to see how much damage that Trap can get for that. It's now his second Oracle flying its way across the map here. Gonna both together are gonna look to dive on into the main base. Now we do have 2 Stalkers here and a Shield Battery. Stalkers, okay, a couple more warping on in. So Shield Battery overcharge is gonna get popped. I actually don't know whether that does anything because it's kind of a one-tap anyways. But anyway, now the Oracles are going to try to dive on in. Yeah, the Shield Battery Overcharge doesn't do any. I don't know why you'd waste the energy on that. Now, 1 Oracle will go on down. So 1 Oracle for, was that 8 workers? 6 workers? Yeah, 8 workers is, yeah, that's probably pretty acceptable as long as the second Oracle is kept alive to provide vision, all those fun things. But Blink is on the way. +1 is on the way here for ZOUN. So he will, again, have that powerful timing. Where he does, he will absolutely have a massive upgrade lead over his opponent, and B, well, he's going to have Blink over his opponent too. That being said, in games like this, it is just kind of a gentleman's agreement where both players have blink, both players have +1. You go on into that third base rather quickly, and just away you go. Now, other deviation here, of course, Trap, instead of getting a robo, he's adding 2 additional gateways. So he will have a grand total of 4 gateways. Joe, though, only with 2 gateways, but he does have a robo. So his Oracle will stay alive here. His blink is not yet done for the Alpha X Protoss player. And at this point, well, third base again on the way. We're most likely going to see Trap go for a third as well. And what looks like the third probe on the third base location is telegraphing that. Okay, third base is now on the way. The gentleman's agreement. They've shaken their hands. They say, okay, nothing's going to happen for another minute or 2. And now Joe-un, he's adding, he's rounding out his gate count, of course, is going up to 6, which is kind of what you can support off of 2 bases and a robo. And we may see him get a little bit aggressive here because a Warp Prism is on the way. And much like building Archons, a Warp Prism is very much a harbinger of projected aggression. Right, when you build that Warp Prism, it's because you want to do something with it. It's not something you build and just kind of have sit there on the off chance that you're going to need it. No, you build it so you can use it. So now we do have the army of Joe-un just moving across the map here. It is a little bit down in supply, but certainly up in tech. For the time being, it doesn't have the blink timing, but he will have that +1 timing for another 15 seconds, which is longer than it will take for him to move across the map and really do what he wants to do. So Trap absolutely going to go just unpunished here for the timing that he went for. But hey, that's a lot of sentries. And this is a Trap will get taken down. Very nice job there from Joe. And hey, look, he's going to find a couple workers too. So immediately, some damage is getting done, and we will see these sentries need to be doing something because they're a key component of this army supply. As now more stalkers are getting warped on in. Joe with the army supply lead. Now that force field is going to trap a stalker before it does have blink off of cooldown. And Joe, I mean, yes, he does have 3 probes on the way, but it does feel like he's kind of going all in on this, as he's just very much committing hard to this. But it does not look like he has enough here. As another stalker will go on down, of course, but the army supplies are equal. Behind this, of course, Trap doing a little bit better at his. Actually, I shouldn't say that, but because it's not true. But behind this, of course, Trap maintaining that 8 worker supply advantage. It was at like 9, but Joe-un was able to kill off a couple of probes as they did rally between the natural and the third base. But now I don't see how Joe-un is really going to be able to break this. Not really. So +2, of course, is on the way here for Trap. Charge as well. Charge is on the way here for Joe-un, but no +2. Is he on less gas than his opponent? He is. Yeah, so it's 3 gas to 4, as Joe-un was just trying to pour all of his minerals into that timing. That, again, did not work out. So now, of course, we do have +2 on the way, but, I mean, Joe-un did have a rather nice upgrade timing lead, and he's not going to have that anymore. In fact, Trap will have it. It's not most likely going to be impactful. I don't think either player is really going... I don't really think Trap is really going to be able to take advantage of that, much like Joe-un was not. But there's always that option. Of course, Trap says, "Okay, I got a bit of an advantage here. You attacked me and it didn't work. So what do? Stick a 4th base." Now this is going to be a little bit nice here. 4 stalkers do 1-tap probe, so shield battery doesn't do anything, and 5 workers will go on down here. And hey, they're going to blink on out. 1 stalker will most likely lose their life in the exchange. Oh, look at this though. Trap doing a good job of hitting the further stalker. So make sure that he can maybe get both, but no, only 1 will go down. But 1 stalker for 6 workers, that equalizes the worker count. And Joe-un is going to be pretty happy about that one. And yeah, thank you, Bitterwood. I mean, I'm casting Alpha X's player on Alpha X's channel as a member of Alpha X. If I was mispronouncing Joe-un, I'm pretty sure Sushi would kill me. Pretty sure he would just drop me from the team right then and right there. Make me send my jersey back that I just got. And, maybe throw me in an ocean somewhere. Tell me he has some enticing business opportunity in South Korea, and just throw me out of the plane on the way over. We do have Jo'un here. He is posturing on the map. On the right-hand side, trying to see whether you can find some room. But that income advantage that we have seen for Trap for the majority of this game, for the majority of the last 5 minutes, well, it has now manifested itself in a massive, somewhere between a large and a massive army supply lead. Right now it's about 17. It has been more, it has been less. As of course, warp ends happen, they don't happen, warp end cycles, all that fun stuff. But I do love this from Jo'un. He is going on into Disruptor Tech. I don't believe, yeah, this is just going to be Charizard Archon Stalker for Trap. So if Jo'un is able to successfully get on into his Disruptors, well, A, we all know how good he is at that, and B, well, we all know how good he is at that. So that's going to be very nice for him here, as we will see a bunch of Zealots warped on in the main base to deal with the warp ends there for Trap. As well, that run by will not really get a whole lot done actually, but maybe it's going to provide Trap with enough room to really get on top of this 4th base. I don't think so. I think there's still enough here in this. Oh, Stalkers were warped. No, okay, never mind. Zealots were warped on in. It looks like the Warp Prism for both players has died. No, okay, Trap's Warp Prism still. It's on 1. Okay. Okay, Trap, you're on 1. The Trap's Warp Prism did not die somehow. It is, yeah, it is Jo'un. But yes, it is easy to, especially with you're talking fast or you're not paying enough attention, it's very easy to say Joun instead of Jo'un. Because, just as Anglophiles, we're not used to having that, like, really marked, rough breathing mark between the 2 syllables. So, you know. There is that. Now we do have Jo'un. He's going to take that 5th base there. And, okay, so this is going to be really scary here. So we have a big flank coming on in. Disruptor shots not going to hit quite yet as the Stalkers are just going to try to target things down. Did a Disruptor die? Yes, it did for Trap. Man, you can see how technical that engagement was because not a lot of stuff was moving. And you might say, hey, Beo, that just means they're not doing it. No, it means they were doing a lot. Right, that means you had Trap and Jo'un looking all over the map, left and right inside at the same time, trying to figure out what they needed to micro and what they didn't. That was an incredibly technical engagement. At the end of the day, it doesn't look all that impressive. But it absolutely was. So now we do have both players maxed out. Trap will have an upgrade lead for like 5 seconds, as that's going to go on down here. But look at this. We do have Trap. He says, okay, well, I think my army is just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go try to do some harassment here. That is a lot of charge lots. So we're going to have to see half of Jo'un's army is going to get recalled to deal with this. That does give license, of course, for Trap to push on into the other side. Now, Disruptor shots are going to go on off here. Stalkers are going to blink forward. Are any of these Disruptor shots going to go off? They will not. So now all the Disruptors here for Trap, or for Jo'un, will go on down. But this run-by is mostly taken care of. 8 workers have died, of course. But honestly, that's probably pretty good for Jo'un anyways. He was at 85 workers, I think. And that does mean that, well, he was just always going to have such a smaller army. But now we do have Trap here. We'll find this other base. And, well, these Disruptor shots are going to be fairly large. Not as large as Gabe, of course, but still significant. And now Zealots are getting on top of these Disruptors. That's a bit of a problem. The Disruptors and Immortals are just starting to go on down here. And look at this flank coming in from Jo'un on the other side. The Stalkers are going to blink on top of it, but I'm not sure that's the move. As now the Archons are going on down. Jo'un, he's taking a damn good fight on the right-hand side, but he's losing a decent amount of army. As Disruptor shot's going to go off, yes, he's going to lose some probes, but it doesn't really matter. He's still up 7, and he's going to take a massive fight against the army of Trap here on the map. Blink DT on the way here for Trap, not for Jo'un just yet. He does have some DTs, of course, but no blink just yet. And now Jo'un, for the first time in quite a while, is at a position of advantage. He does have a base up on him. Well, actually, no. Trap is fully mining from that now. He does have equal bases with his opponent. He's down an upgrade, sure, but his army supply is just about 30 higher. And he, I would say, is probably better at playing this Disruptor style than Trap is, just strictly because, I mean, I see him play Disruptor a lot. Now, Trap, of course, probably the best Protoss player in the world, so that's a brave statement to say, of course. But we're just going to see whether Jo'un can make that happen here. Disruptor shots are going to go off, but Trap, of course, will be able to blink away. And, well, of course, the upgrade leader here on these Zealots is making these run-bys really problematic there for Joun for the time being, but hey, we have continuous warp ins, and that's going to be fine. As finally the warp prism will get taken down as well, and we're not going to see another warp prism for Trap for quite a while, because all production cycles for both players at this point is into Disruptor's Trap to make sure that he doesn't die, Joun to make sure that his opponent does die. Oh, look at these disruptor shots. Trap, are you paying attention? Trap's not paying attention. Those are going to be absolutely massive there, as it looks like Joun, he's paying attention on the other side. Not going to lose too much here. And I think all of the disruptor shots were spent. So now Joun, he has a 60 supply lead. These disruptors are going to get taken down by the Tribe. Actually, no, they're not. They're just going to take down the base. Taking the high ground position just there, as yeah, now we do have Trap's army here, sure. But... well, I guess the one next saving grace here is there are not a lot of disruptors as part of this army of Joun. And the disruptor shots are going to go off. We'll see a decent amount of tech die. But, I mean, it's 96 army supply to 71. Equal upgrades. Sure, Blink DT is a thing. I guess that was one Zealot left behind knocking down a bunch of probes. I think. Yeah, Zealots were killing off the rest of the probes at that base. So now... Trap, his economy, it's kind of in the dumps. It's actually a lot in the dumps. So yes, oh, actually we do have Blink DT from both sides here. Disruptor's a great splits there from Joun, and he will lose one Disruptor, but not any others, and he will get a true for one trade. So that's going to be fantastic there for our Alpha X Protoss player. Meanwhile, it looks like DT is getting some sort of damage done on top of the third base. There we go, Blink and Recall though. They will be able to stay alive. As now we have Joun expanding to take the entire upper right-hand side of the map at this point. So really putting himself 2 bases up on his opponent. Realistically, if you're up 1 base, you're pretty happy. 2 bases, though, that's just gravy here. So we do, of course, see... well, Travis going to try to get something happen. And really what he's trying to do here is force a blink. Because if he forces the blink DTs will be able to go after it and absolutely shred that army. Now Trap, he's taking the 12 o'clock base. It's a little bit more defensive. As actually he's double expanding here because he realizes that... yeah, he's going to have to give up one of those bases, and he's not even going to try. That's going to get canceled immediately, but maybe, just maybe, if he convinces Joun that that's where he's expanding now, maybe Joun will not think to look on the other side, but no, that's not going to be the case here, as we have some quality DT on DT action. But of course, actually, these DT, the blue DTs don't have any detection for the moment, so they will be forced on back, and that's just the state of PvP right now. DT Zealot run bys all over the place. Who has observers? Who doesn't? All that fun stuff. So, oh, look at this. Inside track here for Joun. He will find this 4th base as these disruptors will go on out here. But that's a lot of disruptors. So, oh, that's going to be a great... oh, God, that's even better. Trap, he's fighting his way back on into this game, is purely off of some disruptor connections. As Joun is on 3, Trap is on 6. As, well, yeah, he won't be able to make that connection either. So, at this point, Joun has a bank, sure, but he doesn't have nearly as many disruptors as he would possibly like to have. Now, interestingly enough, though, and this is actually rather interesting with this game, we only see both players really, they have their run by force, right? And then they have their main army. We don't really see 2 separate armies like we often see in matchups like this. Although, as I say that now, it looks like Trap is doing that a little bit more here, as Joun is very content to trade a base for a base. Actually, I don't even think that's going to happen, as Trap will be forced to back on up here. Disruptor shots are going to try to do something, but no, nice pullaways here from Joun, and there we go. So, this base from Trap will go on down. The base from Joun will stay alive, and yes, this run by from Trap is dynamite, strictly because there's no detection here on the right-hand side. No cannons were made, or they killed off fast enough here. Oh man, this flank from Trap actually has the potential to do a lot of damage, and the recall is not going to get nearly enough here from Joun. Is this going to be enough? Is this Trap actually making the comeback happen right now? For the first time in forever, Trap does have the army supply lead. So look at that. Look how much armies... look how far Joun's army did fall down. When is a good time to transition to Sky Toss in PvP? It very much depends on the player. Some players never do. Some players do as soon as they hit 5 bases. It very much depends on the player and the state of the game. Whether you think you have enough to comfortably hold and not lose should your opponent try to punish you for that. And that's such a nebulous thing. It really is nebulous. In fact, like if we look at players like Nina, she never goes Sky Toss. If her opponent goes Sky Toss, she just goes Massive Link Stalker and tries to tear the map apart. So it's not really, there's not a hard and fast rule for anything like that. Unlike, you know, once you get depends on the style you're playing, but kind of once you get 3 bases, 3.5 bases, in PvZ you go Sky Toss. It's incredibly nebulous in a matchup like this, and I really enjoy this style of matchup that ZOUN and TRAP are showing for us today. It's all over the place, it's dynamic. It is really hard to tell. I mean, you can kind of tell that ZOUN is winning, but TRAP is making a game of it. He's making it so hard for ZOUN to win this game. But meanwhile, ZOUN, he's playing a very good game. He's all over the map. He's denying these bases that TRAP is desperately trying to take. And TRAP just ever so slowly is running out of money. His natural is almost mined out. His 3rd base is almost mined out here. Look at these DTs. We'll get a disruptor. That's going to be very nice. The 4th base, well, it's not really mining at the moment. So not getting close to mine out right now. But what this means realistically, oh, never mind. There's going to be some explosions here, and it looks like ZOUN did take the advantage. Yeah, ZOUN took a much better trade there. If we take a look at this, thank you. Nice username. Yeah, ZOUN killed twice as much as opponent. Same amount of gas, but twice as much minerals. So, yeah, very nice trade there for the blue Protoss player. And remember when TRAP was equal in army supply? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, ZOUN now he's up 50 supply. 440 supply, I guess. And, well, 40 army supply, 20 worker supply, 24 worker supply. So at this point, it feels like we're in the end game. Well, we're in the end game, but it feels like we're in the end game of the game actually ending. And you asked, what's the proper time to transition to Sky Toss and PvP? Well, ZOUN is making that transition. We do have +1 air attack on the way. Do we have any we have 2 Stargates. So maybe we're going to see some sort of a Void Ray switch. We don't see a Fleet Beacon yet, I don't think. No, we do have the Fleet Beacon. So yeah, Carriers or Tempest, something like that. But again, ZOUN, he's not banking a ton yet. He's only 1k. So maybe he doesn't feel quite comfortable doing that yet. Now he will, eventually. Oh god, that last disruptor, that may actually just be it. That may be enough to allow this hold to happen. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Yeah, yep. Okay, here we go. TRAP is giving up. GG ZOUN with those last couple shots. Everything's gonna die. Spawning in the upper right in the blue. He is, of course, representing Alpha X. 1 game from the final match of the day. He is ZOUN. And his opponent in the bottom left. In the red, looking to make a comeback in this series as much as he tried to make a comeback in game number 1. Actually, hopefully more than that, because he didn't really work in game number 1. For the Freaky Freaks, TRAP. Perhaps we might see a DRG TRAP. Well, hopefully we'll see a DRG or a DRG ZOUN rematch, because well, that's going to make me happy. And then on top of that, hopefully we will see a ZOUN victory. So we can see ZOUN in the round of 8. Because I'm not biased. It's not like, you know, I'm a member of Alpha X. It's not like this is an Alpha X tournament or anything. But look at this, though. TRAP doing something a little bit spicy here in the second game in this series. This does look like it will be a proxy Stargate, I think. Only basing that off of the position there, as most likely proxy robo tends to be a little bit closer, so you're a little bit closer for rally. This is very much middle of nowhere, so it's most likely going to be a proxy robo. I've also seen or proxy Stargate, excuse me. I've also seen proxy DTs at that position, but generally it's further against a wall because Darkshine's rather small and it's easier to hide. But we shall see once, of course, the Cybercore is done. TRAP and ZOUN both banking gas, and it will be proxy robo. So TRAP looking to end this game fast one way or the other. Now, ZOUN is aware that there is only 1 pylon in TRAP space. So that is something at the very least that will tell him that, okay, wait, there's a chance that there's some shenanigans on the map here. So we do have ZOUN. He's scouting around the map, trying to see what he can find. And will he find this? It looks like he's going in oh, no, I think he's going to find it. Again, we're going to have to wait to see where he looks, but is he going to go up on the next high ground? Oh, Joun, he's going to find it now. He's going to turn around before Trap knows that he sees it. No, he's going to, okay, Trap knows that he has been found out at this point. And it's going to be a Stargate here for Joun, and I love that, man. You get a couple Void Rays against Stargate, against a bunch of Immortals. Good luck. Good luck. No. This is if Joun wins, it's going to be Joun DRG rematch. But now Stargate is on the way. And actually, are these Stalkers going to knock this pylon down before the Immortal comes on out? Just barely not. Just barely not. Now we're going to see these Stalkers take some damage. Of course, we're just buying time. We're buying time here for Joun. Oh, he's going to go Phoenix. Interesting. I feel like you just hold with Void Rays. Just how many gateways do we have there? We have it's only 2 gateways, so you get Void Ray Stalker. I feel like that holds. But I guess, you know, if you lift up the Immortal, that's also a really good hold, and Phoenix can just kind of continuously chase down the Warp Prism to negate some micro. There we go on the Warp Prism. But look at this. So the Stalkers are in a. Are they trying to lure these Adepts in? But anyway, we will have. Yeah. Okay. I think it's just a matter of production speed. Hey, it's Pastor. Welcome. Of course, one of the other casters here for Alpha X. Hope you're having a good day, my dude. Hope you're enjoying your official pilot's license. But now we have the lift up coming in. The Immortal is going to go down immediately, and after that, Warp Prism just probably going to die as well here. Joun taking a really good fight, but he will be forced to back on up as this is, I believe, 3 gates. Yeah, it's 3 gates. So Joun still he has to be careful because the Warp Prism is still alive. That being said, though, I mean, this is looking pretty good for Joun thus far. As there we go, we have the Chrono on top of the gates to make sure he can produce as fast as possible. But we're hitting the point where I believe, honestly, that Joun can probably just go take his natural. Now, not yet. And that's a really big scout, by the way. The Phoenix will see the fact that, yes, there is nothing more in production here on that Robo. So it is just a gateway all-in at this point. That tells Joun a lot about how this game is going to go. So now we do have Joun getting aggressive here on the map. But no, there's another warp in. So, yeah, got to be a little bit careful here. Oh... Joun. This is pretty cool. So, he's building a lot of static defense at home, a lot of pylons at home, making sure that he doesn't really die. And look at this. He's going to cut off his army on the way back, his opponent's army on the way back home. Now, he's got to be careful because Trap has more warp ins and he does have defender's advantage there. So, that's not going to be all that useful. But the Phoenix will check on into the main base. Say, hey, what are you up to, bud? And say, okay, 3 gates and the Chrono on 2. So, yeah, you're not expanding. But there we go. Joun, he's got his natural on the way, and all he's worried about at this point is whether his opponent will kill him, but with the amount of static defense that he does have, I'm not convinced. I don't think that Trap is really going to be able to break this. Certainly not without any tech other than just, you know, a bunch of Stalkers. So now we have, with sentries going on in, we do, of course, have the Guardian Shield, of course, but those force fields are going to be very good, and of course, with the shield battery here, these Stalkers aren't going to take a lot of damage. That means that more and more Stalkers are on the way. The Phoenix, of course, they're just going to try to dive. I imagine they're just going to try to dive on top of things. As this is a big concave to attack on into. This is, if I was Trap, it's not something I would really wish to attack on into. But now, of course, we do have a Robo on the... Okay, I don't really know what he killed there. But now we have the attack coming on in here. And, well, we don't have a shield battery overcharge just yet because we're waiting for the Nexus to finish. But there we have the lift coming on in here. The Phoenix are getting targeted down immediately. And now Trap does have a bit of a big army supply lead at this point. But we're going to see sentries get targeted down. But they will be able to get their way far enough back in time. And now it's a shield battery push coming on in here from Joun. This is pretty cool. You know what? Honestly, I think I would have preferred to see a shield battery first in the power zone and then get the pylon. Just so you can get that earlier on. But now Joun does have his natural. He is mining from it. And we're going to have to see some Immortals here, because right now, Trap does have a 9 army supply lead. It is all in Stalkers. It is 1 Stalker lead and 2 sentries, so, well, not the end of the world. Now, Joun will be able to knock down one of these shield batteries, I think, and hey, getting a decent amount of the sentries. is rather nice. That is the expensive part of this army, of course. That is a lot of gas, and that is a lot of survivability that these sentries do afford Trap. So it's only one shield battery right now. It's going to get rebuilt, even as it does get canceled here. But the supply lead is diminishing, and we don't have a shield battery overcharge. Just I don't believe it was used. Yeah, there's just no energy for it quite yet, as the chrono has been spent. So now we're gonna have Trap moving on in, but the supplies are not all that different. As now Trap's gonna be Joan is going to sell out for this just a little bit, losing a couple workers in exchange. But with the Immortal here and the potential for a shield battery overcharge, I think Joan is probably fine. That being said, though, I mean, the supplies are equal, but the armies do not look to be equal here. And with the shield battery, of course, that is with the War Prison, that's a bit of a problem here. Now with the Immortal's going to get taken down, not really getting nearly as much damage done as it needs to. The War Prism is still alive here. Probes are going to get pulled. The last effort here of Joan to make sure that he does hold here. And we haven't seen a single shield battery overcharge this entire game. This is really weird here. But now it does look like he's held. It looks like he's made enough happen. And now, well, we're going to see the Stalkers getting targeted down here. The War Prism starting to take some damage, which means it cannot really stay in the front anymore here. But another Warp in, and Jouna will be forced on back. His mining drastically in the dirt. But now the supplies are equal. Now he has an Immortal. Now this is going to be broken back here. Trap's only on one base. And yes, Joun is now down 4 workers compared to his opponent, but he has an additional base. So he's able to mine somewhat more efficiently. And of course, he's able to rebuild that. And there we have it. GG, Joun with the hold. We got a rematch, ladies and gentlemen.